Marcel used the name March with me. I'm a university graduate who, for the past 25 years, has worked in the emergency services. 14 years ago, I founded a successful nonprofit company that inspires young females towards non-traditional careers. I have dedicated my entire life to helping people in as many ways as I can. And probably because of my hard childhood, my Lotto 649 dream is to create an adventure retreat that would inspire young people to be more than they thought they could be. I've been divorced twice. It's hard to believe, but both my husbands had traumatic injuries that incapacitated them for a long duration. One a workplace accident and the other a motorcycle accident. I had been single for 2 years and wasn't even remotely interested in dating, not even looking at one dating website, and wasn't into the bar scene. Unlike so many these days, I was not a lonely single woman looking to hook up with a man. I was happy and my life was fulfilled by my work, volunteerism, friends, and my awesome fur baby. I've been around the block in more ways than I can count. It's frightening to me that I could be scammed. I'm telling you my story because if I can be scammed, you can be scammed. Our paths crossed several times while I was running, paddling, kayaking, windsurfing, and walking my dog in Shuby Park. But I only said hi in passing because I'm very time limited. It was July 2018 when I accidentally met March at a Tim Hortons coffee shop just down the road from Shuby Park. I guess it wasn't too difficult for him to gather information about me prior to our meeting, as he had been staying in the campground for several months. My friend and I struck up a conversation with March and his friend. He told me he was here in the city helping his stepmom with the campground and that he wanted to buy the campground's lease. He shared that he had just purchased 300 acres of land to create a youth at risk facility in Digby. I thought that was an amazing idea. It was so close to my adventure retreat 649 dream. We continued to talk. I wanted to know more about the facility. We started to spend more time together, doing my favorite activities. After about a month, he asked me if I thought we were dating yet. This gave me a chance to pause and think. He really wasn't my type. Exercise wasn't important to him, neither was healthy eating. I particularly didn't like the skull tattoo he had on his arm, but he said it was from when he was young and dumb, and that he was changing it. He smoked a cigarette or two a day, which actually is a deal breaker for me, but he said he wanted to and would 100% quit. He appeared to have some serious health issues, and I've got too much on my plate to take care of another person. But then I thought about how similar our pasts and future dreams were, how he was into helping so many people. He was warm, friendly, and well liked at the camp. He was easy to talk to, he seemed to care about me, was always finding ways to help me, gave me his undivided attention, and endless compliments. But most of all, he was going to do great things for kids. He told people he was building the facility, but that I was the brains behind the program, and he bragged about my current program. I decided I should be more flexible. It's only dating. I'm not marrying the guy. And I thought, what an opportunity to make a difference in the world this would be. My friends and family were so happy that I actually was dating someone. It was like it pained them to see me single. And everyone liked him. Make no mistake about it, though, the most attractive thing about him was the youth at risk facility. He knew it, too. He continually talked about the small details, such as the cost of telephone poles, paving, and the big picture of how he wanted it to be environmentally friendly using off-the-grid facilities, and showed me the progress he was making. He sent me pictures and showed me diagrams to explain things more fully. He was so happy he was moving forward. He was proud that he was keeping a family-owned business alive with this project. I feel he used 3 tactics against me. The first tactic was an opportunity to invest in my 649 dream, my 649 dream business to help less fortunate children. I'm guessing he wanted around $100,000 or $200,000 because he spent 4 months priming me for the investment in his youth at risk facility. He was greatly saddened by my offer to attain government funding for such a worthy project. The first plan was foiled. Tactic 2. He played an exceptional role as my ideal partner. He continually asked me specific questions in which I thought he was genuinely interested in me and my history. But what I provided him was the best script to play my ideal partner. He was disappointed when he found out all my funding or found out that all my funding sources were not only double password protected, but also that I would never share passwords nor venture into anything joint. Also, that I wouldn't even consider living with anyone without a cohabitation agreement. His second plan was foiled. The third tactic required longer-term tactical planning. March often talked about the adventure retreat, but he also talked about 3 other things. 1, his Crohn's disease. 2, his mentor Cal. And 3, his best friend Mike. He talked about how he struggled his entire life with his debilitating Crohn's disease and how only one specific medication works, that it's expensive and it's not covered by regular health plans. He talked about his mentor Cal, who saved his life and mentored him to personal and business success, and how he really only had 1 or 2 people he considered family. Cal, and the other person was his best friend Mike, who he said he was friends with forever, who would do anything for him, and who he was so proud of his international business accomplishments. I was to meet Mike when he got back from Asia in a month or so. March was upset one day after he got off the phone. His mentor Cal was hospitalized and getting a double bypass heart surgery. March had more bad luck because next someone stole his knapsack at the campground with all his ID and money. He calls me at work and he says he is now hospitalized with a severe Crohn's attack, likely brought on by all this extra stress. He said he would ask Cal, but he's in the hospital, and Mike is unreachable in Asia. So then he asked me for $1,500 for his medication. Then he said it cost more in Nova Scotia, so he needed $2,000. And then it didn't work at the first time, so he needed to do it again, and thankfully then it worked. Then he needed money to retrieve his dog Cowboy in Toronto. His ex was coming through with the dog. And because, of course, I love my dog. But he told me not to worry. He would get his ID in a day or 2, and I'd be promptly repaid. I gave him around $5,000 in total in 3 separate increments. After he left, I received an email from Marc Vautour. I only knew him as Marc Hubert. I asked him what the deal was with this name, and he told me that it was his business partner's last name and they shared emails. Well, then I knew I had been had because nobody shares emails. I looked up Marc Vautour and Marc Hubert up on Facebook and Googled them, and I didn't find one thing about him. Then I remembered he had said he went by his middle name, March, rather than his first name, Andre. I looked Andre Vautour up on Facebook, and I found a picture of him that he had showed me previously, and a statement below it saying, "This is not his car, but he pretends it is. Beware." I immediately sent a message to that person and asked for more information. It seemed like forever to get a return message. And unfortunately, the response indicated that she and several other women have been scammed by March. When March left, the last thing he said to me was, "Are you going to miss me?" and "Are you going to cry?" This didn't make any sense until I received that email from the owner of the Facebook account. That's when I understood what he meant when he said, "Are you going to cry?" Because he was taking my affection and my money and never coming back. I never heard from him again. I've been robbed by March, and it is little comfort that there are many others who can say this same thing. I know a guy by the name of JB who told me he lost much, much more money to March around the same time. And my friend was very close to giving him a $50,000 check for a car, but at the last minute changed her mind. Likely there are others. Everything he says or does is for the sole purpose of stealing people's money. He is cold, calculated, well-practiced, slick, and he got me good. I was extremely mad at myself for being so stupid. Initially, I had a hard time sleeping because I kept reviewing all our conversations and tried to figure out how I could be so stupid. Then I would wake up in the middle of the night and think, "Oh my God, did that just happen to me?" I was angry and humiliated to have to go get tested for every kind of sexual disease now. Then daily I had to hear songs March sang to me and answer questions asked by everyone. And answer the one question asked by everyone. "How's it going with your new boyfriend?" I lost $5,000, but what is worse is how I feel personally violated. But what's worse than that is the personal damage I have seen on several victims' faces, the blotches, the nervous twitches, the swollen eyes as they tell me their story of financial and emotional devastation. They truly loved him. He has taken more than they had to give. He has taken away their souls, their livelihood, and their hopes and dreams. Please share our stories and protect your family and friends.